What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, back with another WWE Week in Review. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. A very somber week in WWE, as well as also exciting at the same time. So, kind of bittersweet. Obviously, the loss of Pat Patterson was huge. Creator of the Royal Rumble, first ever Intercontinental Champion. I grew up watching him as the stooge to Vince McMahon, but obviously he was so much more than that, so that was very sad. But also we have the Go Home show for War Games, my favorite NXT pay-per-view of the year. I'm super excited for it. 2 matches. I've done my AEW... I did my AEW Week in Review, so I'm going to put a link at the end of that. Also did my preview and predictions for War Games. That I'll also put a link in, and I'll be doing my War Games review and results on Monday. So there you have it. And as always, what I like to do is go over everything that happened this week. Raw, NXT, Smackdown. Give you as much information as I can, as if you didn't even watch. Because obviously, there's a lot of wrestling going on. And with a lot of, with everything going on, sometimes people just don't want to watch it anymore. Sometimes they just want to get the notes. The cliff notes of what happened. So that's what I'm here to provide. So, in that vein, we will go straight to Raw. So we started off with a moment of bliss. Kind of a new set. She has like her overalls now and a doll in a cage. So that's kind of weird. Randy Orton, obviously her special guest because he's been on multiple times now, which is a little interesting. So we have that. So Bliss plays a recap of last week. Randy hasn't been formally introduced to the Fiend, but he says he knows Bray. He says they're alike. But they show hide their pain differently. Obviously, he does it with a mask, the Fiend, and Randy just does it some other way, I guess. So Randy needs to find the Fiend's weakness, since he found Bray's a long time ago, burning down the house of Sister Abigail. But then he indicates that Alexa is the Fiend's weakness. But Alexa's trying to turn it back on him, as if he doesn't know what he's talking about. The lights go out. Come back on. Fiend is in the ring. Randy is holding Alexa this time. He then gives, obviously the Fiend motions that he wants Alexa. So he hands Alexa over, ducks out, gets out of there. So it shows that, he believes he's actually found it. He's going up the ramp. He says, "Who's laughing now?" So he thinks he's found his, the Fiend's weakness is Alexa Bliss. We'll see. We then get a Symphony of Destruction match. Elias versus Hardy. Okay, so this is still going. Anyway, so apparently Elias was doing something on Main Event, and Hardy attacked him there as well. So I think that's the first time that Main Event has been mentioned pretty much on WWE programming TV. Hardy with a violin off the steps catches a jumping knee though. Elias goes for the piano, but turns out Truth is hiding inside the piano. Eric and Akira chase after him. Gulak and Lindsay are on their way. They catch guitar shots from Elias and Hardy. Hardy sent into a guitar in the corner for a 2 count. Then Elias puts guitar picks in the knuckles and starts punching Hardy in the face. Hardy's driven into a drum set. Missed into the... So Elias missed going into the gong. And there's... beating each other with the drums. And then Hardy goes for a whisper in the wind off the... Whoa, I don't know why that... Hello? I don't know why the lights did that. So he gets a whisper in the wind in the ring, and Elias hits him with a violin in like the ass, I guess it is. Hardy grabs the rope on the count, which makes no sense because this is supposed to be a no DQ match. So why would a rope break? WWE logic. Elias then goes to use the neck of a guitar and stab Hardy with it, and stabs it into a speaker, and then we have the whole shocking thing, and he's like, which is comedy, which actually was funny. He gets hit with a bass, even though for some reason Tom Phillips called it a bassoon, so he was corrected very quickly by Joe, which was good. Then, so this was insane. So Hardy sets up Elias on a table outside by the steps. Of all the corners to do it, the one with the steps. Hardy then does a swanton bomb off the top post onto Elias, who has violins laid against him, through a table, and it looks like Hardy hits the back of his neck on the bottom step, and it was super dangerous, super close. He wins the match, but god damn it, he looked like he could have been paralyzed in that. I mean, it's just insane. He was able to walk off under his own power, but damn. And also, it just made no sense because, if falls count anywhere, then it's a no DQ match. So then why would a rope break be the one to stop it? Once again, WWE logic. Riddle finds Lee backstage. Riddle's pumped and nervous. Is going on and on. Then they pan away to Keith. They come back. He's gone. We get a New Day merch commercial. Retribution recap on Ricochet. We get another promo about Ricochet not seeing. He's spinning his wheels. He's being disrespected. Slapjack says he was seen as a joke. I never saw Shane Thorne as a joke. I actually thought he was a fantastic wrestler and was just getting, really shit. Obviously, not TSU, TM 6-1 maybe it was. And then the Mighty, obviously his partner left. Then he was with Brendan Vink on Raw. I never thought he was a joke. I always thought he was a fantastic wrestler in phenomenal shape and could get a nice push. It was just, bad booking. So, whatever. Ricochet versus Slapjack. So we got Ricochet promo. Thought he could save Ali, but he just needs to show him that he's better and what he's going to do is better. Ricochet is distracted and knocked off the top, followed with a cannonball. Springboard, clothesline, standing shooting star press by Ricochet. Ali calls for Mace and Dijak to come out. Rick flops over the top onto all of them. Then Dana Brooke comes out, slaps Ali and calling out for Yim. The odds are against Ricochet, obviously, and Slapjack hits like a spinning Saito suplex for the win. It's pretty cool. So Slapjack gets the win there. Okay. Miz TV. Sheamus is the guest, so I love Sheamus's look with the bowler hat and the suspenders and everything. I wish he kept that for either more matches, like if he's having like no DQ brawler type matches, street fight matches, but he doesn't. So it's a good look though. He's basically just saying get to the point because he doesn't want Miz and Morrison to dance around it. They want to talk about Drew. Sheamus got disrespected in the deal. Basically, he gave a chest to like a family chest to Drew, and he never got a title shot. Miz is trying to drive a wedge between them. Obviously, Sheamus beats them up until Miz uses the case on them. Then they leave. We get Asuka and Lana versus Shayna and Nia again, but not for the titles. Asuka and Lana are in gorilla position, getting pumped up. Lana said something about her and Shayna. I didn't get it. Shayna and Nia are now at gorilla position. They're arguing about whose fault it is, and basically just, I think it was Sarah Schreiber. She was just basically, Nia was just like, ew. So we had a double slide, caught into stereo swings into the barricade. Nia is abusing Lana. Shayna stops the ankle. Nia more abuse on the outside. Nia sent into the post. Hot tag to Asuka. Lana tags herself in. A splash that goes wrong. We get the clutch, but Asuka hits a Shining Wizard on Shayna while Lana's in the clutch. Lana actually pins Shayna for the win, so now they've had 2 wins over the tag team champions. I found out later on this week that they're going to be facing each other for the women's tag team titles. So Asuka now, that's how bad the women's division on Raw is, that Asuka doesn't have anyone to face, so instead she'll be teaming with Lana to go for the tag team titles. Okay. Sheamus is acting hurt backstage. Drew comes up. They start laughing about it, saying that, you know what, I'd probably do the same to you. He's like, you didn't come and get my back, and he's like, you wouldn't have gotten mine. He's like, yeah, you're probably right. So, he goes, no, but it's motivation for tonight since you're going to go beat the crap out of those Muppets. And he's like, yep. So then we get Xavier Woods versus Cedric. We get a New Day promo. Congrats on Woods on G4. So he's the new host of, they're bringing G4 back. Woods jokes about the King of the Ring, says it's going to happen, which, I mean, at this point, it's got to happen. New Day does a recap of the feud. We get MVP says they're actually 2-2 based on some logic. Cedric says he is in Shelton, which was, I thought, like a little slight towards Shelton Benjamin. Cedric with a cheap shot grabs the title. He basically just mushed it. Back and forth, solid match there. We get Xavier Woods with the honor roll for a 2 count. We get a brain buster by Cedric for a 2 count. A dive by Cedric countered into a throw into the barricade. We get a lumbar check, though, out of nowhere, back in the ring for the win. Cedric goes up the ramp celebrating, and he leaves MVP and Shelton in the ring. And they're like, what the hell's going on? Like, he's all pumped up, which it's like, good, yeah, you got that win. But now it seems like he's almost getting a little too big for his britches now with the Hurt Business. So we got AJ and Jordan are backstage. Riddle comes up to them to talk. Jordan knows apparently that his rabbit is named Skipper. AJ says you should name it Hoppy, but Turtle already named. His turtle's already named Hoppy, I guess. He calls AJ cute, which AJ takes exception to it, and that's about it. Riddle just being Riddle. Matt Riddle. Sudden death triple threat match. We get Lee versus Riddle versus AJ. The winner will face Drew at TLC. So they scatter as Lee attempts a tope. Riddle and Lee square off. Jordan saves AJ from getting knocked over the top rope. Riddle with the floating bro on the outside connects. We get Riddle fights out of the spirit bomb with an armbar. Riddle gets pounced by Lee. And then Lee kicks out of a phenomenal forearm at 2. We get a final flash knee to Lee. And then a phenomenal forearm to Riddle for the win. So, Jesus, again with this light. I mean, it's like, I gotta have it like right there now. Like, I don't get it. Whoa. That work? Better? Okay. So now Lee, AJ Styles will now be the number 1 contender for the WWE title and will face Drew McIntyre at TLC. Miz and Morrison have a backstage interview. They don't believe their plan backfired. They think that they're one step ahead again. Maybe I need to change the brightness of this thing. I don't know. There we go. Let's see if that works. So we got Dana Brooke versus Mia Yim. Yim promo going after Ali was a mistake. Her mask comes off right away and the headband, but they still won't call her Mia Yim. Yim with the chop fest on Dana Brooke. Handspring elbow by Dana. Ali tries to distract, which backfires, and Dana wins with a roll-up. And then Ali berates Yim in the ring. So, back to their losing ways. AJ's backstage. Miz and Morrison congratulate him. They present him with a peach pie. And AJ agrees to help him, says it's easier to beat Miz. And they thought they were going to have to do more or be more shady. And they're like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah. And then he's like, leave the pie. To which Jordan calls it a cupcake. I guess because he's so big. Backstage, Riddle confronts MVP. He said MVP caused Bobby a chance. Has an idea for Lawn Bros. Place will be weedless, obviously. Has another thing about a donut place called Bro Nuts. Tries to do the thing again. Isn't as funny or as organic as it was the first time. Bobby attacks, puts him in the Hurt Lock, and that's it. Then we get our main event. Drew and Sheamus versus Miz and Morrison. Lee is backstage. Says people think he'll turn on his partner. To Sheamus. And Sheamus says, well, I gotta go turn on my partner now. That was a bad aim. Drew in-ring interview. Knew he was going to beat Randy. Roman got scared as the match went on, then got help to win. Money in the Bank case is the only thing keeping Miz relevant. AJ's at commentary during this match. So we get Drew with a blind tag to Sheamus. 10 beat to the Bowery to Morrison. Miz catches some of them as well. Sheamus calling out AJ for some reason, coming face to face. Then Jordan gets involved. Sheamus kicked onto the commentary table. Sheamus is taking heat for a while. AJ attacks Drew for the DQ. We get a Starship Pain on Drew, a Skull Crushing Finale on Drew, and then before Miz can cash in, because for some reason AJ's trying to tell him to cash in, and Miz is like arguing with him as opposed to like, why would I cash in? What are you doing? Why do you have the case? This whole thing. Finally, as he's about to finally say, okay, let's cash in, he catches a Claymore. And then AJ gets knocked over the top rope, but Jordan catches him, and Jordan walks up the ramp with AJ on his shoulder, and he's talking trash the whole time. All right, with NXT. Okay, so this was right after, after Raw, I believe it was that Tuesday that Pat Patterson passed away. So we have a tribute to him with the NXT locker room with Triple H and the rest of them on the stage there. We get a video package. of My Way, with him singing some of the lyrics as well. So we get this is the War Games Go Home show. So the first match we have is Damian Priest and Leon Ruff versus Legado del Fantasma of Santos and Mendoza. So Gargano's on commentary says, "Go buy another mesh shirt, you goof," to Damian Priest. So apparently, what happened earlier in the day was that Kurt Stallion was supposed to team with Leon Ruff. Damian Priest stepped in and said, "I want Leon Ruff healthy, and ready for Sunday." He then takes out Joaquin Wilde, which is why Santos had to step in. Leon wants to start the match. Leon gets V-triggered into the corner. Priest all over Mendoza. We got a Ghostface in the crowd, which distracts Damian Priest. We had a nasty dive from Santos into the barricade. Priest taking heat for a while. He gets a desperation flying flatline on Mendoza. Reluctantly tags Ruff. Another hot tag to Priest. We get Ruff makes the tag Reckoning. Yeah, so we get a Reckoning. He wants to finish it off, so Damian Priest says, "All right," hits the Reckoning, tags him in. Ruff hits a frog splash for the win. I'm not sure I like LDF taking the loss there. I feel like they're there. They have a perfect thing that they want. They want to make the cruiserweight title relevant, but they also want to be a dominant faction. And they have a phenomenal tag team in Wilde and Mendoza, but they're not using them. So I'm just not sure what we have here. But then Priest and Ruff are in the ring. Gargano's on commentary, and behind him in the crowd, two more Ghostface. So who's going to be those Ghostface? Recap of Men's War Games ladder match. Shotzi vignette making the tank. Ember and Rhea bring an engine that's like glowing, but they still have one member missing, and we obviously know who it's going to be. It's going to be EO. We knew that. We had a special look at the Undisputed Era, reflecting on the rough couple of weeks they had. They were in like a restaurant by like the kitchen, and it was way too loud. It did not seem like that place is following protocols. It just seemed like there was way too many people in there, but that could have just been noise pumped in for effect. I don't know. Backstage interview with Team Candice. Indy is still in the neck brace. They'll be leaving with the advantage tonight because they have the ladder match tonight. August Gray versus Cameron Grimes. Grimes has a sack. Tilt-a-whirl, Uranagi, cave in for the win. This is pretty quick. The strap was in the sack. He ties Gray to the strap and then beats him with it. And then, he gets tossed out of the ring, and Loomis switches places with him so that when Gray turns around, he's like, I think Grimes said, "Holy shit," because they got bleeped out for a little bit. So it's kind of funny. So we got Jake Atlas versus Tony Nese. Hey, remember Tony Nese? He was the Cruiserweight champion at WrestleMania. Not this past WrestleMania, the WrestleMania before. So Pat and crew arrived in picture-in-picture. Nese with the torture rack. Atlas gets on the attack. Nese misses a moonsault, tweaks his knee, but still able to get a super kick for a 2 count. Misses the running Nese. We get a reverse stunner and the cartwheel DDT for the win. Now they're saying that this is like the biggest win of Atlas's career. I mean, didn't he beat our cruiserweight champion in the tournament? So like, I don't know exactly what he's doing here. I don't know what he means. Post-match interview says, every time I take 1 step forward, I take 3 steps back, and that's how it is, and I need to just, keep moving forward, which I understand and makes perfect sense. So we get Pat McAfee and crew out to the ring. Undisputed Era had the lamest night, nostalgia running wild, brother, just making fun of them. He said he paid for his team. It was getting a little long-winded at that point, so, he's like, wrap it up, Pat. And then Peter Dunne says, they'll end the Undisputed Era, and he's like, well, he barely talks, so you know what? We'll listen to him. No, this can't even get any lighter. Okay, so we get Raquel warming up, then Grizzled Young Veterans video package. Boa and Xia Li are being basically, like, trained/tortured with water, and then they're beaten with kendo sticks in front of this mysterious woman who we don't know who it is yet. Grizzled Young Veterans versus what was supposed to be Everrise. Imperium attacks Everrise pre-match. Tag division belongs to Imperium, they say. So then they have a match against Grizzled Young Veterans instead. So Drake saves Gibson from a whip in the corner. Drake is taking heat. Gibson should have reached for the tag. I don't know why he didn't at one point. Gibson Eichner over the top together. Gibson's taking more heat. Hard-hitting match between the two. Eichner goes for the basically like a you can't escape. But Gibson gets the knees up. We get the hot tag to James Drake. Frog splash from the top to the outside on everyone from Eichner. And then Everrise comes back in and starts attacking everyone, so it's DQ. Kind of a shitty end to a great match. And, why is Everrise getting the jump on everybody? That just seems a little weird. During the break, apparently Everrise say that they're the best, or Everrise rules. I think that's what it is, and they just drive off. We get another live Thatch can. Lesson, distraction. So many people get distracted, whether it's, by someone's music or this or that. Ciampa shows up. He's here to teach. He's called a disappointment. Thatch sneak attacks. Lesson 1, don't be an ass. That's what Ciampa says. Thatch's student actually attacks Ciampa, and then Ciampa gets choked out with a cravat by Thatcher. During the break, Thatch is happy about his student. Meanwhile, his student is being talked to by Malcolm Bivens and basically, I guess, trying to be recruited. And then we have your main event, the War Games Advantage ladder match. Raquel Gonzalez versus Shotzi Blackheart. No tag for Shotzi this time. I expect one, and an awesome one on Sunday. So we get Raquel takes the ladder to the face on the outside. Shotzi dropped on the ladder right on the ribs. Raquel is manhandling Shotzi at this point. We get a slice spread on the outside attempt. Shotzi face first into the apron, and then stairs to the head. They fight atop the ladder, crash to the mat. We get a cannonball in the corner, folds Raquel in half, which was super dangerous. Shotzi goes from the top into the counter, gets countered into a powerbomb, but both take damage. Indy then brings a ladder to help the team because, before the match, you see the other two teams are on scaffolds, high above as they were for the men's match. So Indy helps them out. We then, so Indy helps them. Then all of a sudden we see that, the other one is now empty. The other, Ember and Rhea now, all of a sudden they pan over and they're gone. So clearly they got them somehow. Most likely Io brought them a ladder. So Indy tries to get the ladder while everyone's breaking down, brawling. Io attacks Raquel, and then Raquel's low-bridged to the outside. Io hits a moonsault, takes out everyone. Shotzi alone gets the briefcase for the win and the advantage. Obviously, Io is the fourth. She's the fourth man, brother! So that is NXT for the week. And finally, let's see where we're at real quick. Not bad. So we're at Smackdown now. So we get another Pat Patterson tribute, more video package. Roman Reigns in-ring interview. Kayla with the Kenny Omega style intro, just going over all of his bona fides. He comes out with Heyman and Jay. We're told that he'll tag with Jay against Kevin Owens and Otis later on tonight. Kayla apparently did not get the full intro right because Heyman has to do the reign, defending, undisputed, blah, blah, blah. We get a recap of last week, and Roman is basically mean-mugging Jay, and Jay can't even look at him. It was great camera work there about how Jay screwed up. Kayla asks if, we see that KO says he doesn't fear you. Do you fear Roman? And just basically just running Kayla down, just about you're blowing it. This is the biggest thing you'll do in your life. And you blew it on your first question, you blew it on your second question, using Jay as a pawn. Does he look like someone a person who manipulates? Heyman then comes in saying Jay main events every SmackDown and the ratings are the highest because of him. KO's music hits. We can sell this now since we don't fear each other. Jay grabs the mic and says, we accept your challenge. He says, no, I'm not talking to the busboy. I'm talking to the head of the table. KO challenges him to a TLC match at TLC. Roman says, you know what? If this was the old me, I'd whoop your ass. But you know what? I'm not a savage. There's a woman in the ring. We'll fight later. And then as he leaves, KO says, he's like, yeah, you're a savage. Grow up. And he says, I'll grow up when you grow some balls. And you could tell Roman was pissed, but he just kept walking. We then get another head scratcher of the night. Bayley versus Natalya. I love that she has Ding Dong Hello on her shirt now. That looks really cool. Backstage with Jay apologizing for overstepping, and Roman says he knows he meant well, but there are always consequences. Recap of last week, Bianca is on commentary. We had Bayley tough talking Bianca. Bayley sent into the steps. Bayley first tries a sharpshooter, then a discus ladder, which I thought was interesting. She was using Natalya's moveset against her. Then Nat gets a sharpshooter, and Bailey taps right away. It makes zero sense. Zero sense. And Bailey and Bianca jaw at each other, but I mean, it just seems like they're not giving this any kind of real push, because it's like, well, if Bailey's losing now, she lost it Survivor Series, she's losing now. Who cares? We get a Pat Patterson tribute. They have the original Intercontinental title at ringside. A nice video package as well. So then we get our Pat Patterson tribute match. So the present Intercontinental Champion and 5 other former Intercontinental Champions, Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, and Big E versus Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Dolph Ziggler. I think Cole said that Shinsuke arrived when he won the Intercontinental title, which makes no sense. I mean, he was the NXT champ, he won the Royal Rumble, had a great showing at WrestleMania against AJ. No. A dive by Bryan takes out Sammy, talking to commentary. This was actually a really fun match. Hot tag to Big E, taking out Shinsuke. Uranagi in the corner. Dolph breaks the count. Big E posts himself. Sammy counters Arana into a Blue Thunder Bomb on Rey for a 2 count. Yes kicks on Dolph. An Avalanche Rana countered by Dolph. There's a bunch of pinning attempts. We get some more yes kicks on Dolph. Big E hits a... Dolph hits a famouser on Big E. No, he hits a famouser on Daniel Bryan, and Big E breaks the count. Sammy blind tag tries to sneak a pin on Bryan. Bryan gets the yes lock on Sammy, but Sammy gets to the ropes. Sammy hits a brain buster. Then there are a bunch of pinning attempts between the two, and then Mr. Small Package himself, Daniel Bryan, wins with a small package, because of course, of all the people you had to pin the champion. Makes no sense. So then the faces leave celebrating. Then they decide to go back into the ring to beat up the heels. Then the heels all decide, okay, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. But Dolph is the one that doesn't go, and Sammy and Shinsuke go. But Sammy's supposed to be the cerebral one, so it makes no sense. Then they all 3 of them do moves on Dolph, and he oversells the shit out of it. He gets an atomic drop in it, and then like oversells it, and then falls into a 619 position. I didn't get it. I didn't know if that was something with Pat Patterson. It could be. Backstage interview with KO. He used to respect Roman. Then all of a sudden, Kalisto just walks in awkwardly. It was so weird, and then commenting, saying he likes his fedora, his hat. He says, Roman's a you-know-what, 2 syllables, starts with an A. But he can't say it because they're friends at Fox. Otis arrives. He says, you know what, we're a couple of blue-collar brawlers, and also agrees that he's an a-hole. Sasha Carmella, War of Words. So we interview with separate locations. Sasha will start. Mella says she knows what she's going to say. I'm the boss, I'm the blueprint, which is basically what she would say. Carmella says they're more alike. Because she was doing it all for the fans. But when was Sasha doing it for the fans? Especially recently. She's been a heel for almost a year now. So it's like, even more. So she wasn't doing it for the fans now. So I don't get that. She needed help to win Money in the Bank. Carmella, it's like there was the guy with no neck, then Truth. Apparently they never fought one-on-one, which I think is crazy. Mella says Sasha's jealous because she decided to join WWE on a whim and was a natural at it, and her one reign is more than all of Sasha's combined reigns. Sasha challenges her to TLC. I'm pretty sure that Carmella was a second-generation superstar, so I'm not sure she just decided to do it on a whim, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know if that was maybe, even though her father was a wrestler, she didn't want to do it. I'm not going to say that for sure, but it just seems a little odd. Murphy versus Corbin. So Murphy just doesn't look the same since being with the Mysterios, but he comes out with the Mysterios, and Dom is wearing a pink turtleneck tucked in with the chain on the outside. All he needs is the fanny pack, and he is The Rock. It looks ridiculous. Then Corbin brings some backup, which apparently is the Forgotten Sons wearing a suit but a hoodie as well. And apparently no one knows who they are. Cole is like, is that? And then just stops talking. I don't know if he got word from earlier in the day. Word in his earpiece like, shut the hell up. So he says they're unfamiliar, they're unknown, Corey calls them. They're clean shaven, so that's different. But Corbin is dominating Murphy early. Murphy is thrown into the timekeeper's area, takes out a cameraman. Corey then, coming back from break, finally acknowledges who they are, and I think it's because probably they looked on Twitter and saw everyone being like, we know who they are, stop being fucking stupid. And then Cole's like, great observation, Corey. We get a standoff on the outside between the two. Murphy with the choke to wear Corbin down. Corbin with the slider on the post, but catches a V trigger. And then Corbin motions, Forgotten Sons to attack the Mysterios, which they do, which then gets Murphy to come out and try to help. And then he chases after Forgotten Sons back into the ring, right into an End of Days for the win. So Murphy is now stupid babyface, apparently. Street Profits with like one of these intermission things. They just go on and on about everything that's going on. Rude then comes out saying that they should be the champs. Cesaro says him and Shinsuke should be the champs. They're all arguing over each other, and it stops. So we'll probably get some kind of three-way, dance at TLC probably. So our main event, Otis and KO versus Roman and Jay. Roman doesn't come out, so it's a 2-on-1. This is, I guess, part of the consequences. So after Jay takes a beating, Roman finally does show up. Before getting the tag, Roman comes in and Superman punches Otis, and he takes him out on the outside. He's killing him with the stairs. We come back from break. Otis is now teleported out, and it's a 2-on-1 the other way. So now KO is by himself. KO makes a comeback, and Roman looks disgusted on the apron. KO does a Samoan drop on Jay. It was a nice touch, and he was looking at Roman while he did it. We get Jay goes for a splash. Roman demands a tag out. He says, this is my show, so he goes in. But before Jay gets the tag, KO recovers, pulls him into a stunner. Roman then comes into the ring with the guillotine, and the ref calls for the bell. They start chair shot the shit out of Kevin Owens, and then Roman tells him to do a splash on top of the chair, which he does. Then Roman beats the shit out of Jay. And then he grabs KO by the beard and he said, you're trying to make me a savage. He's like, your whole family is going to fear me. You got my attention, blah, 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 blah. But the ending, so he beats the shit out of Otis with the stairs, no DQ, but he comes in to break up a pin and then does a guillotine, and that's the thing that gets it. WWE logic never makes sense. So, once again, the hissing in the background is the heat in the building. So there you have it. That is I keep saying it, WWE, my weekend review. As always, I do my match of the week. My match of the week, I'm going to go with the ladder match in NXT. I thought that was wildly entertaining. I don't think Raquel Gonzalez was the right person for the match, but I still thought it was entertaining. Obviously, the stakes were very high for it. Shotzi was able to win, get the advantage for her team. Io is now the fourth member. So there was a lot going on in that match. Obviously, Indy Hartwell is going to be some kind of factor in this match, pretending with the neck brace on. So it'll be interesting to see how much she gets involved and how she's able to affect the outcome of the match. What were my thoughts on that? Well, you just have to check out my War Games preview and predictions video, which will be at a link at the end of this. So there you have it. WWE Weekend Review. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. And as always, be safe, love each other, and bye now.